What's up, y'all? Can't flip for ship here. Today's video is about Balisong flow. And it's funny, I know like I'm not the best proponent on what flow is because I'm not like a flowy flipper compared to other flippers. So I understand that completely, but just because I don't really necessarily have a lot of flow doesn't mean that I don't know what it takes to have a flow. It's just not necessarily my type of style. So that being said, whoa, see that leg movement? Treacherous. I am the goat. But yeah, so that being said, I know a few things that kind of help out flow or have helped me in the past, so I can kind of go over them. But one thing is you don't want to have any definitive ending tricks. So like that, for example, would be tricks that like have like a specific way that they're supposed to end. Ow. That, for example, could be something like a trick that doesn't lead into another trick, like a shortstop like this. You know, right there, that's a moment where you kind of lose flow because you just finished off everything you're doing. Another one is like, you don't want to include like something where you would have like a catch, like an aerial catch like that kind of finishes off tricks. Another thing that kind of hurts flow is doing too much fanning. I've seen a lot of people who have like a lot of fanning. They don't look as flowy as some of the other styles of tricks. And I fan a lot. I'm trying to get that chatter, but I fan a lot, but that's what I choose for my style. It's not necessarily what I think that should be endorsed for everybody, especially because like there's a certain type of flipping that's popular nowadays, and it doesn't really include that. Whoa. It doesn't really include a lot of fanning. It includes like a lot of rollovers, a lot of whip rolls. Like I know the whip roll is like one of the most popular things that everybody does nowadays. So no definitive tricks. That's the first thing. Nothing like this. Nothing like dropping the Balisong. Secondarily, you want to know all your tricks. If you look at anybody who has that crazy flow, they're not going to be people who are new or are using tricks that they barely just learned, because that's not really a recipe for like being great. It's like everything has to be like set in stone. Like for a good example is like for me, I always do the tricks that I like am learning in my videos. That's why you see me mess up and drop a lot, but also at the same time, most of the tricks that I'm doing are tricks that I already know. That's how I'm able to talk while I'm flipping. And you'll notice that like a lot of the time whenever I have to like go and talk about something that, or if I have to like do a new trick or focus a lot on a trick, then all of a sudden I don't necessarily have the same ability to perform at the same level. But yeah, so similarly, man, I'm pooping the stick. But yeah, similarly, you know, all these guys that are really good, like James Hill and stuff like that, I hope you guys went and watched his video. But those people, they're not, how do you say, they're doing tricks that they already know. They're not learning anything new on the spot. And that's just one tip for flow, because that's what you have to do. You have to know the tricks, because you smooth everything out. Like there's a difference between doing a trick clean and then doing the trick like just being able to do it. If to be able to do a trick, like I can do a lot of tricks, but to be able to do them clean, that's a different story. You know, you'll get it down eventually where there's times where there's certain things you can't hit and can hit, obviously. But when you know you have a trick down smooth, whenever you can just consistently hit it, and it starts to get a certain look to it that like all the pro style stuff looks like. So that's just kind of one little tip. Another thing is you want to know what's coming next, if that makes sense. You can't flow like off of like you can obviously freestyle, but you want to have a general idea of what tricks can come after other tricks, because that's really going to help with your flow. Like I know what tricks can come after other tricks and what tricks can't, and I think that helps out a lot whenever I'm like learning flowy ass type tricks, because it just gives me that experience to know like, okay, I'm preparing for this next trick, because a lot of the times transitions for tricks take just as much thought and effort and consciousness as the trick themselves. Like if I was going to transition from here to here, the toss is different when I do the toss is different coming off of this Z choker that I do into the aerial. See what I'm saying? For that thumb draft, versus if I was doing something like a snap around choker fan like that and I come down like this, the toss is a little bit different too. Ow, fuck. I'm gonna have to cut for a second. Sorry, I thought that I had wrecked myself. I did like a bite handle draft, or like a not a bite handle draft, but a bite handle or a safe handle draft, and I wrecked myself onto that same thumb. I thought that it was like a bad cut, but it just kind of broke the skin. But yeah, so basically along what I was saying, you know, another thing to be conscientious of when you're doing your tricks and trying to have a good flow is that you want to understand that speed is not always necessarily your friend. A lot of the flowiest flippers that I know aren't necessarily fast flippers. And so that's just kind of like a necessary thing, because they have their own like style, and you can't always be speeding through tricks. It looks good when you have the frame super low, like whenever you're out there, like, you know, it's like super like close up, you know, like if I want to go like super close up and be like, look how fast I'm flipping, oh my god, oh, you know, or like, oh, it's really fast, it's in the frame, oh shit. But the more like you kind of like look over it, and the more like you kind of see it, a lot of the times you can't afford to like flip in that way. So it's kind of interesting to see. Look at that. Anyways, so yeah, those are just my general tips for having Balisong flow. Of course, it's not for everybody that's going to be the case, but it also just kind of depends, you know. But I just wanted to throw those things out there. Those are my best practice tips. Also too, the way you do a trick, the way that it like you have your hands open and stuff. There's some good videos on this topic. But sorry if this video was not necessarily the best video. I had to cut and all that. But you know, it is what it is. I wanted to come out here and just say at least what I know on the topic, and kind of help out anybody that might be having trouble with it. Man, I have trouble with that double helix aerial. 1, 2, it's because I'm scared to grab the bite handle. But yeah, let me know what tips you guys have for Balisong flow down in the comments below, because it's definitely helpful for me to see what people think and what, you know, is kind of working with you guys. So yeah, rock on.